Assalamu alaikum. Topic of today's talk is environmental biology. So environmental biology is the branch of physical sciences at the intersection of environmental science, ecology, evolution, and global change. It further examines the various way how the organisms, species, and communities influence with each other and are impacted by various natural as well as various man-made activities which altered various kinds of ecosystems. If we particularly talk about the ecosystem or the ecology, then it is always start from a producer level, which is only the smaller plants or the animals, zooplankton and the phytoplankton. So it always starts from the individual, then it goes to the population, a group of population make community, community is further converted into an ecosystem. All the ecosystem comprises various types of the biomes like the tundra, desert, Sahara, and then this biome is further categorized in terms of the biosphere. So basically it is the interrelationship of the organism within their environment. So in the biosphere, all the ecosystem of the planet Earth put together to form the biosphere. It is the most simplified and generalized definition of the biosphere. In other words, life is supported on the earth within a relatively thick envelope of the air. This life-sustaining envelope of earth is called as biosphere. So if we talk about the environment, basically it is the composition of the two main words. First word is the environ, which means surrounding, and it is derived from a French word. The second word is called as surrounding. Surrounding means we are surrounded by various natural factors like biotic factor and abiotic factor. In biotic factor, all the living things included human beings, plants, animal, microbes, whereas the abiotic factor such as light, air, water, soil, temperature, these are all comes in the category of non-living factors. So the environment can be defined as the surroundings or the conditions in which a person, animal, or the plant live or operate. The relationship of living things of an area with each other and with the non-living things of the environment is called as the environmental biology. Biology, environment means surrounding, biology means living things. So it is basically the interaction of living things within the surrounding area that may be further subcategorized into the living, non-living part. And more simplified, simply it can also be called as ecology. So if we talk about the ecology, there are a few terms which are related to the ecosystem or ecology. The first term is the habitat, how the plants, uh, different plant behavior, they interact with each other. Or the place or the area where an organisms or many species of the organisms, they live together is called as habitat, or they can share their place or area to grow, to live, to perform its various type of function is called as a habitat. Then population is a group of the same kinds of the organisms that live together in the same habitat is called as population, and this population is the mixture of the similar type of organism or similar type of the plant species that are living together, and they also share their main or the same habitat is called population. The third term is the community, as many different kind of the organisms living together in the same habitat make up a community. If there is a group of the plant community and this group is different from another species or the genera, then they, though they share their same habitat, same area to live together to perform various life forming function, then this will comprises the term community. So there is the key difference between the two terms. First one is the ecosystem and the another one is the environment. Basically, as I already told you, that environment is the surrounding which changes accordingly with the passage of time. While the ecosystem involves the interaction between the environment and the organisms which share their common habitat. So ecosystem is a community where the living organisms lives in an area and they interact with other element of the environment. So what is an ecosystem? It is a grouping of the various organisms that interact with each other and their environment in such a way so as to preserve their grouping apart. So there is great diversity of the ecosystem in their existence. All of them are categorized by the general structural and major functional attributes. So there are many types of ecosystems, including all living as well as non-living categories, but they share a main geographical location. In other words, ecosystem is the broader term, which is made up of all biotic as well as abiotic factor. For example, a pond itself is an independent ecosystem, a forest, an estuary, a grassland. So these are the different type of the picture showing a separate ecosystem. In figure 1, you can see this is an estuary where the water flows around along the benches of the river or the ocean. And this is the grassland showing all various types of group of the mixture of the various plant group communities in terms of the grassland. The third picture is showing a forest community or forest ecosystem, and the first one picture is showing the pond ecosystem. So basically an ecosystem, there are various types of ecosystem. First one is called as natural ecosystem, that are further subcategorizes into the two type of ecosystem: terrestrial ecosystem and aquatic ecosystem. So the terrestrial, as the name indicated, it is the system that is made naturally on the land by including various type of factors. Aquatic, as the name indicate, aqua mean water. So this is the hydrophobic ecosystem, which has been further classified into the freshwater ecosystem and the marine ecosystem. If we talk about the freshwater ecosystem, it is further subcategorizes or subclassified into two type of ecosystem. First one is called as lentic freshwater ecosystem. Lentic freshwater ecosystem is that where water is fresh but it is stagnant, it is not flowing. The freshwater ecosystem is further divided into its second subclass, which is called as lotic freshwater ecosystem. Lotic freshwater ecosystem is the running water or the flowing water that always flow. Example can be seen just like a canal water, a river, an ocean, whereas example of lentic freshwater ecosystem is the pond where the water is stagnant, but that can be the fresh. Second class of the aquatic ecosystem is the marine ecosystem. Marine ecosystem, as we all know very well about our ocean and stream, our ocean and river are all comes in the category of marine ecosystem that can be shared by various types of marine or the aquatic life. So the second major type of ecosystem is the artificial ecosystem that can be created by the human or the man-made anthropogenic activities that can be further subdivided into two types. First one is a land ecosystem and the second one is called as the freshwater ecosystem. So the ecosystem can be made by human activities or it can be created by the will of the God, that is the natural ecosystem. So already explained, biotic factor and abiotic factor are the main two components of the ecosystems. So in biotic, as the name indicates, bio means living. So all these examples comes in the category of living factors, including plants, animals, fungi, bacteria, and algae. All of these are the living microbes that play a very important role in the ecosystem. Then the non-living means all the abiotic factor. For example, these are water, sunlight, soil, air, temperature, humidity, and a huge variety of all these non-living or the abiotic factor are the main component of the ecosystem. So basic component of the ecosystem, biotic or the abiotic or the non-living components, and the biotic or the living components. So abiotic are further described in terms of their organic compounds. First category is the inorganic substances that include carbon dioxide, water, nitrogen, calcium phosphate, all of which are involved in the matter cycle, which is called as biogeochemical cycles. In biogeochemical cycle, these all are the essential nutrients which are required by the environment, and their recycling is continued in order to perform all the environmental ecosystem functions properly. And the organic compounds are all protein, carbohydrates, lipid, amino acids, and these are all synthesized by flora and fauna of an ecosystem. Flora mean all the plants and fauna mean all the animals of an ecosystem. That is both are the living biota, and they are reached to the ecosystem as their waste that remains. They mixed within the soil, become part of the humus, and in this way they perform the various important function with respect to the photosynthesis. And the third one is the climatic factor. In order to perform the function of the ecosystem, climatic factor play a very important role for the proper maintenance of essential nutrient organic components by which different forms of all nutrients are fixed in their proportions naturally or by various human or the man-made activities. Then biotic or the living component are further classified into the autotrophs or the producers, heterotrophs, and these are also called as consumers, decomposers, or the saprotrophs. So the first category is in biotic factor can be explained diagrammatically by each of these living factors. So all these figures showing all the living things, including plants, including animals, including microbes. So abiotic factor including all known living factors like water, lightning reaction, wind, air, and this is the picture showing the windmill maintaining the specific air in an ecosystem. So various abiotic factors affect the living organisms in an ecosystem, like fire destroys but can sometimes help a forest community by allowing new organisms to thrive. And this is basically the process to start the succession in an ecosystem. Succession is the different stages of different plant communities that are the two main types. Succession is of two main types. First one is the primary succession and second one is the secondary succession. And each of these succession can be carried out into the various steps by the various theories, supported by the various theories. Then early or an unexpected frost can also kill various plants and entire food chain, and the wind can affect the way an organisms grow. उसी तरफ आप इस पिक्चर में देख सकते हैं कि एक ट्री जो है इसका झुकाव उसी तरफ ज्यादा है जिस सिम्ट में हवा ज्यादा तेज आ रही होती है, और अगर एक्सट्रीम बहुत ज्यादा टेम्परेचर फ्रॉस्टिंग कंडीशन हो जाए, प्लांट की चिलिंग कंडीशन, चिलिंग टेम्परेचर आ जाए, एकदम से हमारा एनवायरनमेंट जो है वो चेंज हो जाए, तो उसका एक नेगेटिव इम्पैक्ट पड़ता है प्लांट के ऊपर, क्योंकि हर सीजन के प्लांट्स डिफरेंट होते हैं विद रिस्पेक्ट टू द क्लाइमेटिक फैक्टर. If you talk about annual, if you talk about biennial, if you talk about perennial, so हर तरह के प्लांट हर तरह के मौसम में फ्लावरिंग को प्रोड्यूस करते हैं, सीड्स बनाते हैं. सो एकदम से अगर सडन चेंज आ जाए इन्वायरमेंट में तो हर तरह का प्लांट जो है वो नेगेटिवली रिस्पॉन्ड करता है. अभी जिस तरह लास्ट 2-3 months अगो हमारा एक बड़ा अनएक्सपेक्टेड सा चिलिंग एटमॉस्फेयर आ गया था, लाइक टेम्परेचर वॉज चिलिंग, जिसकी वजह से हमारे बहुत सारे प्लांट्स जो हैं वो उस फ्रॉस्टिंग टेम्परेचर को टॉलरेट नहीं कर सके, एंड अल्टीमेटली दे बिकम, फर्स्टली दे विल they become wilt and then they die. और इसकी बेस्ट एग्जांपल मैं आप लोगों को दे सकती हूँ, जो कि जो नहर है हमारी मेन कैनाल रोड, उसके इर्द गिर्द जितने भी ट्रीज ग्रो किए हुए हैं उनका वो कलर ग्रीनिश नहीं रहा। इन्हीं अगर आपने इन स्पेसिफिकली ये 2-3 माह जो इंतहाई सर्दी के गुजरे थे, अगर आपने नोटिस किया हो गुजरते वक्त, तो नहर के किनारे जो ट्रीज थे वो ट्रीज मुकम्मल तौर पे विल्ट हो चुके हैं और उनके जो हैं लीव्स भी शेड हो चुके हैं एंड दे आर गोइंग टू बी डाई because they are not prepared for or they are not ready to accept any drastic change into the environment, जो कि जिसकी वजह से वो जो हैं अपने they are going to be wilt और ultimately जो हैं वो मुकम्मल तौर पे खत्म हो गए। देन बायोटिक फैक्टर्स जो है डायरेक्ट इफेक्ट करते हैं एबायोटिक फैक्टर को इन एन इकोसिस्टम। फॉर एग्जांपल लाइकन इसकी बहुत अच्छी एग्जांपल है। लाइकन इज द association of fungi and algae, and it specifically grow on the rocks that help to break down into the soil, and these lichens are very important part of the minerals. We can say that because they always grow into the rock or the sediments. Then dead organism and animal waste, they contribute to the soil nutrient with the help of decomposers of course, because decomposition के process में जैसे ही अगर कोई animal dead हो जाता है या कोई इनके रिमेन्स रह जाते हैं, डेड ऑर्गेनिजम्स कोई माइक्रोब्स ऐसे हैं जो सॉइल के ऊपर डेड हो जाते हैं, तो फिर सॉइल की न्यूट्रिएंट एफिशिएंसी को बढ़ाने के लिए वो सॉइल के सेडिमेंट के साथ मिक्सअप हो जाते हैं, जिसकी वजह से सॉइल में ऐसी न्यूट्रिएंट्स पैदा हो जाती हैं जो कि प्लांट्स की नरिशमेंट और ग्रोथ के लिए बहुत ज़्यादा इम्पॉर्टेंट है। सो all of these two factors are directly or indirectly affecting each other, means biotic as well as abiotic factor. So if we talk about the ecosystem ecology, so we should well aware the food chain. एक food chain जो है हमारे ecosystem में एक बहुत important role play करता है, and this will describes as a single pathway that energy and nutrients may follow in an ecosystem. And there is one organism per trophic level, and the trophic level are therefore easily defined. They usually start with a primary producer, and which is called as any phytoplankton or the zooplankton, and they always end up with a top predator. Okay? So here is an example. It always starts from the producer level, that are the phytoplankton and zooplankton, and from the primary producer level they go to the next trophic level, and these stages are called as trophic level, and each trophic level the energy is released. Only 10% of energy is released, while the remaining energy will be utilized by each step organisms, which comes like primary consumers, then secondary consumer, and then tertiary consumer, and the top predator is called as a killer whale. For example, जितने भी छोटे producers हैं जिनको कि हम कह रहे हैं these are the primary producers which are already present into the unicellular form in terms of phytoplankton diatoms or in terms of the zooplankton, they can be ultimately eaten by these various types of enemies like krill, shrimp, small fishes, squids, and they come all of these smaller, थोड़ा सा जिनका लेवल बड़ा हो जाए, then they are called as primary consumer. अल्टीमेटली क्या होता है, ये प्राइमरी कंज्यूमर जो है ये खुराक बनते हैं सेकेंडरी कंज्यूमर का, जिसमें थोड़े से बड़े एक्वाटिक एनिमल्स आ जाते हैं, जिनमें आ जाती है व्हेल, सील, फिशेस एंड पेंगुइन्स। एंड नेक्स्ट ट्रॉफिक लेवल या लास्ट ट्रॉफिक लेवल पर जाते जाते टॉप प्रेडेटर रह जाता है। अल्टीमेटली एक ही फिश रह जाती है विच इज कॉल्ड एज किलर वेल। किलर वेल इसलिए इसको किलर वेल कहते हैं बिकॉज टॉप प्रेडेटर या लास्ट ट्रॉफिक लेवल या टर्शरी कंज्यूमर जाते जाते ये सारा जो है एक बड़ी मछली जो है वो सारी छोटी मछलियों को और स्मॉलर एनिमल्स को वो खा जाती है और वो उसकी खुराक का बायस बन जाती है, और इस वजह से ये सारा साइकिल जो है कॉन्टिन्यूसली चलता रहता है, तो इसी को हम कहते हैं फूड चेन। Then there are various function of an ecosystem as the producer, which are basically the phytoplankton, green plant, they fix radiant energy, वो वाली एनर्जी जो हमें सन से हासिल होती है, with the help of mineral they take from their edaphic level. एडाफिक फैक्टर वो होते हैं जो सॉइल रिलेटेड फैक्टर होते हैं, जहाँ पे प्लांट्स को ग्रो कराया जाता है, और वहाँ पे सारी इन्वायरमेंटल कंडीशन जो हैं नेचुरली भी मेंटेन की जाती हैं, नेचुरल मेंटेन होती हैं, और अगर आप वही सारा काम अपने क्लोज्ड वायर हाउस में कर रहे हो या कंट्रोल्ड इन्वायरमेंट में कर रहे हो तो वो फिर सारी कंडीशन वहाँ पे मेंटेन करनी पड़ जाती हैं. And these are their foods. So with the help of this solar energy, they convert the chemical energy of the food to the kinetic energy and finally release it as the heat energy. So these animals, they eat up the plants, other animals as food, so the energy is transferred from the food to the animals. When the plant and the animal die, then the decomposers, mostly the bacteria and fungi, they act on their dead bodies, decompose them into the simpler materials like carbon dioxide, water, minerals, which go back to the air, water bodies and soil from where they were taken. So इसी तरह से जितने भी डेड रिमेन्स हैं एनिमल्स के या प्लांट के, उनके ऊपर फिर उनकी डीकम्पोजिशन के दौरान जितने भी डेड बॉडीज से न्यूट्रिएंट रिलीज होते हैं वो उसी सॉइल के अंदर शामिल हो जाते हैं और अल्टीमेटली उसी इन्वायरमेंट में वापस चले जाते हैं, वहाँ जहाँ से वो इन्हीं एनिमल्स की ग्रेजिंग का बाइस बनते हैं. और ये प्रोसेस सारा डीकम्पोजिशन का हेल्पफुल है विद रिस्पेक्ट टू द सॉइल. सो यही कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड जो कि हवा, पानी और मुख्तलिफ तरह की वाटर बॉडीज मिनरल से जो या सॉइल से हासिल किए जाते हैं, ये अगेन दीज कैन बी टेकन अप बाय द ग्रीन प्लांट and again they convert this heat energy to make their food, and this cycle is repeated, this process is repeated again and again, and this leads to the continuous functioning of the ecosystem. So इससे जो है हमारा एक ecosystem in the form of different cycles चलता रहता है. अगर हम एनर्जी फ्लो की बात करें, जिस तरह के लास्ट स्लाइड में मैंने आपको बताया कि हर ये जो हमारा जो फूड चेन है, these are the different trophic level. सो हर ट्रॉफिक लेवल पे जो है एनर्जी ट्रांसफर हो रही है, और हर प्लांट के लिए, प्रोड्यूसर के लिए, प्रेडेटर के लिए दिस इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. सो दिस ट्रांसफर ऑफ एनर्जी एंड वेरियस एसेंशियल न्यूट्रिएंट टेक प्लेस इन द प्रोसेस ऑफ प्रेडेटर एंड प्रे रिलेशनशिप इन अ फूड चेन. और बेसिकली ये सारी एनर्जी जो है प्लांट्स या एनिमल्स को सन से मिलती है, एंड आउट ऑफ दीज enormous amount of energy continuously radiated by the sun, most of is reflected or refracted back by the atmosphere, and only a very small fraction, about only 1% of the solar energy received by the plant is used through the process of photosynthesis. So बहुत ज़्यादा एनर्जी जो कि सन से हासिल हो रही होती है, उसमें से सिर्फ 1%, like it's a very smaller fraction, is utilized by the plant to perform the various important function of photosynthesis respiration. So this is how the energy flow through an ecosystem in the form of ecological pyramid. So if we talk about the food chain, as I already told you with a figure in the back slide, it always starts with the producers, and producers are all included plant, algae, certain type of bacteria which is also called as cyanobacteria. These producers, they use the sunlight to synthesize their chemical energy, and in other words, plant perform a complex set of chemical reaction which is called as photosynthesis, like glucose, the formation of glucose as an end product is the end product in the major process of photosynthesis. So these are all chemical reactions which are taking place by means of these producers that take up the chemical energy to synthesize their sunlight. So these producers, another name for the producers is called as autotrophs. As the name indicates, auto means self, trophs mean feeder. So these are basically the self feeder because they can make their own food for the process of photosynthesis. Second category is called as consumers. They are further divided into the primary, secondary and tertiary consumers. Herbivore, as the name indicates, these are the plant eater, herb eater. Herbs are the smallest plant. Carnivore are the meat eater, whereas omnivore are called as both, that can eat both plant as well as animal diet. So the primary consumers are the organisms that eat plant, and these are the herbivores, the only eat plant material. The best example you can see here in the pictures, primary consumer are right above the plants in any given food chain. So Starting from the food chain, after the phytoplankton or the primary producers, then there is next level, trophic level, which is called as primary consumers. All of these are the examples of the primary consumers. Then secondary, tertiary, quaternary consumers. These are those consumers that each primary consumer, tertiary consumer, secondary consumer, and so on. All of these examples you can see are the secondary, tertiary, and quaternary consumers. These are either carnivores, sometimes insectivorous, or the egg eater, or the omnivores. So these are different examples. This is the picture showing the snake is also the egg eater. Scavengers. It is another class of the animals that do not kill for a meal but pick on the leftover from other animals. Very good example can be seen in the first picture, like hyenas, vultures, crow, raccoon, and some bears comes in the category of scavengers. So this is the bear, this is the vulture, जिसको कि हम vulture, this is vulture. गिद्ध भी कहा जाता है, crows, raccoons, all of these are examples. Then next category is the decomposers, or these are also called as detrivorous. These are the organisms that degrade or decompose dead organic material into the simpler molecules. Fungi and bacteria are most common example of the decomposers that can grow on the dead remains of the living things. So mushrooms are also. So next topic is the biogeochemical cycling. If we talk about the ecosystem, ecology, food chain, food web, then in the food chain there is continuously recycling of various minerals in the form of cycles, and they mostly describe circulation of these matter, plant, animal, nutrient through the ecosystem. These cycles are ultimately powered by the solar energy, fine-tuned and directed by energy expanded by the organisms. Most biogeochemical cycles can be described as elemental cycles involving nutrient elements, and these are all the essential elements considered to be for performing various important functions in the ecosystem. These are carbon, oxygen, nitrogen, sulfur, and phosphorus. So many cycles in these are called as gaseous cycles because oxygen is the main component of various cycles, like O2 can be used for the oxygen, N2 for the nitrogen, carbon dioxide maybe जो आप देखें तो O2 is very essential part of carbon. So it is used for the carbon. Phosphorus cycle एक अलग cycle है जिसको कि हम gaseous component में शुमार नहीं करते, और जो इस तरह के साइकिल्स हैं उनको हम कहते हैं सेडिमेंट्री साइकिल बिकॉज फास्फोरस इज द मेन कंपोनेंट टू फॉर्म टू बी सेडिमेंटेड टू वेरियस सेडिमेंट्री साइकिल जिसमें कि गैसियस फॉर्म फास्फोरस की कोई भी ना मिले. So all the sedimentary cycles, they involve salt solutions or the soil solutions that contain dissolved substances leached from the weathered minerals that may be deposited as mineral formation or they may be taken up by the organisms as nutrient. So basically sedimentary cycles वही होती हैं जो कि salt solution या solution की form में leach down हो जाए weathered mineral के साथ. So ये आगे मैं आपको explain करूँगी in the phosphorus cycles. और यही मिनरल जो हैं बाद में एनिमल जो हैं या ऑर्गेनिज्म डिफरेंट जो हैं वो उनकी खुराक का हिस्सा बन जाए as in the form of nutrient. Only the sulfur cycle which may have be present in the two forms like hydrogen sulfide H2S or SO2 sulfur dioxide is present in the gaseous phase or the minerals like इसकी एक बड़ी important calcium sulfate जिसको नीला पोटा कहा जाता है ये solid phase में present होता है. And it is only the element which is present in both the forms, like it is a combination of gaseous as well as the sedimentary cycles. So first example in the gaseous cycle that regulate is called as the carbon cycle. So carbon, as we all know very well, is the basic building block of all the life molecule, is circulated through the carbon cycle. So it may be present in the gaseous form, like carbon dioxide can be present. These are the various sources of carbon dioxide, how it comes into our atmosphere. First, it can be found as dissolved into the groundwater as a carbonic acid or the molecular carbon dioxide. It can also be present into the limestone, and it can also be a part of organic matter in the underlying rock. It can be represented in a very simplified manner as CH2O. Photosynthesis processes fixes this inorganic carbon as the biological carbon, which is the main constituent to perform various important chemical reactions. So, an important aspect of the carbon cycle is that it is the cycle by which energy is transferred to perform the various biological functions, like organic or the biological form. CH2O is an energy-rich molecule that can react biochemically with the molecular oxygen, that is O2 form, to regenerate carbon dioxide and produce energy. And this can occur only in an organism which can undergo the decay or decomposition reaction by the process of various combustion, such as when the wood is burned. So basically most important source है कार्बन का हमारे एटमॉस्फेयर में is the combustion. जैसे वुड को बर्न किया जाता है तो उसमें जितना भी डिके रिएक्शन के तौर पे एक ऑर्गेनिज्म की डिके या डिकम्पोजिशन से जितनी भी कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड प्रोड्यूस हो जाती है हमारे एटमॉस्फेयर में, ये उसी का एक सोर्स समझा जाता है. अगर साइकिल की बात हम करते हैं कि हाउ दिस कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड इज प्रेजेंट, देन यू कैन सी हियर the major sources are weathered mineral, or it is present into the underlying strata of the rock material in the form of sediment or the limestone. यहाँ से directly, और उसके बाद main combustion of fossil fuel, they undergo the process of combustion and ultimately release the carbon dioxide which goes back into the atmosphere. Third most important source is the volcano eruption, जिसके नतीजे में भी जो है कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड रिलीज हो जाती है. और फिर यही कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड, दिस इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू परफॉर्म द वेरियस केमिकल रिएक्शंस इन बाय द प्लांट्स. Plant utilizes this carbon dioxide by the process of photosynthesis, and they respire this carbon dioxide, and these plants can be eaten by animals, and animals respire carbon, as a result of respiration they release the carbon dioxide, and by the death of these plant and animal, when they undergo the various decay and combustion reaction or the decomposition इनकी हो जाती है, तो ultimately यहाँ से भी directly कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड रिलीज होकर डायरेक्टली हमारे एटमॉस्फेयर में शामिल हो जाती है, और ये साइकिल सारा जो है कंटिन्यूअसली. The earth is continuously bombarded with energy from the sun and radiates